Welcome everybody. Today I'm going to bring you guys a brand new YouTube review. I tried recording this earlier and had some issues with it. This movie is a 1995 film, which is based off the video game of the same name. This video game franchise I have a lot of history with because when I was a kid, I was shown by one of my friends Mortal Kombat and I'd been hooked ever since. This is one of my favorite fighting games of pretty much all time, and this movie is also one of my guilty pleasure films. This movie stars Christopher Lambert as Lord Raiden, Robin Shaw as Liu Kang, Lyndon Ashby as Johnny Cage, which Lyndon Ashby does a really good job as Johnny Cage in this film. I'm not even going to pronounce this guy's name because I know I'm going to butcher it, and he plays Shang Tsung. Bridget Wilson Sampras as Sonya Blade, as well as a variety of different casting characters as well. This movie is based off the fighting video game, like I said, of the same name, and this movie takes a lot of twists and turns throughout the film, and I think this movie has gained sort of a cult classic following over time, and this movie is something that I was really into as a kid as well as a lot of other people that I watched it with. And this movie starts off where you find out that Liu Kang's brother is fighting Shang Tsung on top of sort of, a temple. He loses the fight and is thrown pretty much down the steps of it. Shang Tsung pretty much takes the soul of Liu Kang's brother, and this prompts Liu Kang to kind of go on this self-discovery mission to find out what happened to his brother and to defeat the person that killed him. While he does this, he meets Raiden, who's this kind of god-like character. He's basically like Zeus, where he can control lightning. He has this really cool hat thing where he can pull off and he can toss it and it slices up enemies and stuff. You don't really get to see that in the movie, but it is in the video games. So yeah, while there, Raiden is kind of being Liu Kang's mentor as well as being a mentor to all the other casted characters of the film. Sonya Blade, on the other hand, is looking for a man named Kano, who she's going to fight later on in the movie, and she kind of defeats him pretty brutally. She's a special forces soldier, and she has some pretty cool fight sequences within this film. There's an opening cinematic where she's kind of going through a club sequence and she's trying to take out some henchmen and stuff, and I thought that was a pretty unique way to kind of set up the film. They later meet up on this barge where they're going to travel to Mortal Kombat on a ship. On this barge, you meet Scorpion and Sub-Zero, which are these characters. Sub-Zero can control ice, as well as he has other abilities like that revolve around water. Scorpion is this really cool character that he goes, get over here, and then he can kind of like shoot out this kind of scorpion-like thing, and it kind of tracks Johnny Cage as they're fighting within this forest arena. There's some really cool arena-based matches in this film. There's a couple of them that lead up to the film where they're fighting in sort of this cave type of thing, and it looks kind of like a wrestling match where Johnny Cage fights Goro, and he has some pretty cool one-liners like, "You just broke my glasses," and Goro kind of like shatters them and then throws him off the edge, and that pisses Johnny Cage off, and he's like, "This is where you fall down." There they kind of meet Reptile, which is this creature that doesn't really hold up well CGI wise. This looks like outdated CGI now when you watch the film, but for then it was a little bit revolutionary in terms of being like one of the first few movies to have sort of, a CGI creature on the screen. This is after Jurassic Park, so I think the Jurassic Park CGI effects still hold up to this day, so why the CGI effects for Mortal Kombat don't really hold up, I don't know. This is one of those creatures that probably could have been taken out, and it would have made the movie a lot better and a little bit more enjoyable, because all the other visual effects of this film still hold up. I think they're a little bit cheesy sometimes, but there's this cool sequence at the beginning where Sub-Zero attacks the guy by creating this giant ice ball and shoots it at him, and the guy turns into pretty much ice, and then Sub-Zero kind of cracks him and he pretty much shatters to pieces. Later on in this movie, you find out that Shang Tsung is the big bad guy that everybody's trying to kill in this movie, because he is trying to conquer these 10 matches with his fighters so that he can take over Earthrealm. Earthrealm being Earth. When that happens, pretty much all hell is broken loose. This is pretty much an Armageddon situation for the people that are fighting in Mortal Kombat, because when they finally win the Mortal Kombat tournament, they can finally invade Earthrealm, which they can kind of conquer any realm that they want to. Sonya Blade is kind of on this search for Kano. Kano's this, asshole type of guy. He's kind of like the alpha male of the entire group of characters, of villains, and she later kills him with this cool kind of like neck cracking maneuver that she does, where she kind of spins around on top of him and gets him to kind of fall to the ground, and then he says a really cool one-liner, and then she kind of kills him. I like that part in the movie. I thought that was pretty well done. I thought her fight sequences in most of this movie was pretty good. Liu Kang's kind of battle with Sub-Zero is pretty cool because he uses water against Sub-Zero to kind of throw a spear towards him and kills him. Like I said before, Johnny Cage and Scorpion have this really cool fight sequence. So it starts out, in a forest and goes to this kind of underworld type place where, you see like a bunch of skulls and stuff, and there's a lot of places where you can fall and hurt yourself. And Johnny Cage takes one of the fallen fighters' shields that has like a whole bunch of spikes on it, shields Scorpion from using the fire breath thing that he has, and then uses the shield to kind of impale Scorpion and kill him in part of the film. I don't want to give away all of the stuff that happens within this movie, but if you're really interested in seeing this, I would highly suggest that you check it out on Netflix. This is definitely a movie that people who are fans of video games will definitely like. This is definitely a movie that people who are fans of really good storytelling will like. This movie is not that bad. You know, a movie like Mortal Kombat you'd think would be a little bit more violent because the games are pretty much brutal in terms of how they handle sort of the finishing moves. But this movie isn't. There's this really cool fight sequence at the end of the movie where they bring in the Mortal Kombat theme song, and that theme song is just amazing to hear. I have that downloaded on my iTunes store, and I can, you know, pretty much bring it up whenever I want to when I'm driving and listening to it, and I still listen to it to this day, and I've seen this since, you know, when this first came out, and that's really cool. You later find out that Liu Kang finally finishes off Shang Tsung by pushing him off a ledge. Shang Tsung gets impaled by, you know, some spikes that are down inside this pit, which releases the souls of the fighters that he has, you know, consumed over the course of Mortal Kombat. And you see Liu Kang's brother kind of appear and kind of tell him that, you know, everything's all right, you know, I'm in a better place now and this is where I'm supposed to be. And then he kind of just disappears, and then that kind of ends Liu Kang's kind of redemption and sort of journey to self-discovery in terms of Mortal Kombat. Like I said before, Johnny Cage has to go from, you know, this person that's a really big star in Hollywood to kind of, you know, dropping down his ego a little bit and starting to care a little bit more about the members of his crew that he's fighting with in Mortal Kombat. This movie is really, really good, and I would highly consider watching this. If you're thinking about seeing this, I would give Mortal Kombat a B. I don't think this is a movie that deserves sort of the A rating. There's definitely some flaws. There's definitely some things that don't hold up, but this movie's got some good dialogue, some good action sequences. This movie's got some, you know, cool one-liners that you can kind of bring out in any situation. I think the mark of a good movie is a movie where you kind of leave afterwards thinking about some of the one-liners and stuff, and you can kind of quote them, you know, even to this day. And that's pretty much what Mortal Kombat is to me. I think this movie, like I said before, has kind of gained a cult following. So I hope you guys enjoyed this movie review from Mortal Kombat. I really enjoyed reviewing this because this is one of my personal favorite movies of mine. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.